Great. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining the session. We are talking about Supercharge your Salesforce admin skills. We have a tool which we'll also demo on this series. And as I was mentioning, this series will be every fourth Friday of every month. So keep the eye on the space, and we'll talk about the admin skills and how admin tools can be used efficiently. Great. So this is our agenda. We'll give you some introduction, some background. I'm hoping that everybody here is a Salesforce admin. If you're not, don't worry about it. We'll just get you acquainted with what we are talking about. We'll talk about a little common challenge which we face on day-to-day basis as a Salesforce admin. We'll talk about what we found out the better way to do things, and we'll talk about the benefits and future scope of that. And then we'll leave 5 minutes for Q&A. Great. So if you are in Salesforce ecosystem for a while, I'm sure you have seen this words of roles, profiles, permission sets. Just so that it's easier for you to remember what is what, it's easier to see roles as what you can see, meaning what data you can see. Always that is associated with roles. So you have to start your investigation from roles. We can, start talking about, it's organization wide, there's hierarchy, there is sharing, all those kind of things. But the important thing is when we talk about roles, we say what we see as a data. So we'll talk about this in the next session. We'll talk about profiles here. Profiles is what you can do, meaning any field, any object which you see, any permission which you see, that's all controlled by profiles and permission sets. Profiles in general can allow you to do correct functions, which is create, read, edit, and delete. And that are the functions which are possible through profiles. And what you can do, meaning, you can see this object versus the other person cannot see that object. That's really based on profiles. Now, permission sets are introduced to enhance the way the profiles work. So more flexible functional access and permission set groups. I'm sure many of you have heard saying that in Spring 26, profiles are going away and all the correct functionality will move to permission sets and permission set groups, which is a great thing. A lot of orgs in Salesforce ecosystem are working on the similar concept today, wherein they create a lot of permission set and permission set groups and assign them to the users rather than dictating through profiles, which Salesforce will be standardizing now. Now, meaning in next 3 years. So the goal is to go live with in Spring 26. Now, that does not mean that profiles will be dead. Profiles will still be used for, let's say, giving login IP ranges or, assigning people on what they can see. But the major permissions will flow to permission set. So that's how the vision is. Now, I hope you understood this. Let's go into the demo mode. So we'll be using this app called UtilExchange, which we have launched on AppExchange. It's totally free to download, and we'll see, how we can use this app and solve our challenges. Why don't we talk about challenges now? Let's say there is a use case, I am in the setup object manager, and I want to see a particular field. So let's say I want to have account number as this field, and I have to set a field level security. Okay. Now, here I come, and I can definitely set a field level security for multiple profiles. Okay. Which I can save and do. No problems on that. Similarly, if I go on a particular profile, then I can set field level security for multiple fields at one go for a given object, which is no problem at all. What if a use case comes saying that, hey, I'm a business user, A, and I want to have very similar permissions on the field level as the other user. In that case, how will you solve that? You have to do a lot of investigation and digging and a lot of clicks, right? If I just do it like here, and if I have to go on profiles, let's go on profiles and see how it is solved. So I'll go on profiles. I'll go on sales profile. I'll first find the account field. So we have here field level security and we say view. And from here, we'll be able to edit and give permissions. But on which profile are we giving? On the sales profile. But we have to compare it to another profile, right? So we'll possibly open it another tab. We'll again, open up the system admin profile, let's say. And do account, and go on field level permissions. Compare this and compare this. That's how we generally do. Yeah. Now, the better way to do this is what we'll be presenting on UtilExchange. Let's dive into it. And we'll come on to what this other things are later. So here we have an option to compare multiple profiles to an object. Let's use contract object in this case. And we will hit the search button. So on contract object, on these two profiles, I can have a side-by-side comparison. Easy? Now, let's say if we have to do it on multiple objects. So we'll add account, contact. So these are multiple objects what we added, and we can actually see, for multiple profiles and multiple objects, how easy it is to give field level permissions. So you can see contract, account, and contact. Let's say I want to only focus on one object. So I'll focus on account object. The other two object gets out of your background for the time being. And if you don't want, you can just cancel it and search again so that, all three objects come at one go and you can still compare, the field level permissions and modify it. Now, I don't have to give you the demo of, if you change it here, it changes there and all that, because, that's assumed to work. Great. That's use case number one. Now, similarly, use case number two is around object permissions. Let's say you have multiple profiles, system admin, and the object permissions. Let's say account and contact, easy objects, which are with everybody. Now you have multiple objects and multiple profiles shown in the grid view, and you can modify the permissions right away. Let's take the third profile, which is, minimum access Salesforce. You want to give an object permission to them? Right away, I see they don't have permission on contact. I'll give them read. And this gets updated directly in the backend. Now, if you go on our profile for minimum access Salesforce and see what permission they have, let's go on profile. So we'll go on profile. We used minimum access Salesforce. We have to, which object, which did we give the permission? It's account. I mean, the thing which I personally don't like is using the find function so that we can actually find what we are looking for. this is what we were looking for. I mean, it takes a little while to actually figure out. And if you have to change from here on this UI, just imagine what do you have to do? You can't click here. You have to go up, edit, then come down, and then, give the extra permissions or whatever it is, but that's the keystrokes which you have to hit. And that becomes easier on this particular UI. So that's the benefit on object and field permissions. Very similar use case goes with Apex classes also. Now you have system admin, sales, two profiles. I'll, get multiple Apex classes here if you have to review. This fetches from the background and you can review it here, right here. Now, one of the functionality which is available on all the three use cases which I mentioned is download button. So if you can download this and share it with, your executive, your developer, or whoever is asking, and you can review this in a very easy mode. Let me open this and move it here. Just give me a second. Yeah. See, this is what it downloads to. Now let's, we will download this on the field level, which looks like a real beauty if we have to investigate an issue and share that issue with multiple people. We have sales, we have system admin, we have minimum access user, let's say multiple objects, okay, where we have to show contract and contact. We'll search this. It's obviously a lot of comparison to be done here. But if you have to show this on multiple screenshots, it's very difficult in Salesforce. In here, you can download this. The downloading is happening here. Yeah, this is a file downloaded. Opening this file. Let me drag it here. Okay. So this is a beautiful analysis, which you can share it with anybody, marking saying that, this was a particular field where the permissions are not there, or this was a particular issue, you can share with whoever is asking you. I hope that makes sense. Now, a little bit brief about UtilExchange. UtilExchange, the goal of UtilExchange is today it provides, easy way to give permissions to fields, to objects. But the goal of UtilExchange is to become a one-stop app for all the admins out there, and so that you can do all the analysis directly in this tool. When you install, you have to follow certain steps so that you can give some basic permissions to access the metadata. But once you have given that permissions, you can dive in and use the app. It also gives you a certain, dashboard, which can be downloaded in future and can be presented to your executive team saying that this is wrong with your system, or this is where improvements are needed. So that's the goal of UtilExchange. We'll keep it, this particular app, we'll enhance it every now and then. And you should be watching out for this space so that you don't miss any updates from our side. Again, if you want to search us on App Exchange, we call it UtilExchange by Areya Technologies, and this is what the app looks like. Great. That was about it. This is what I wanted to, talk about this session. But I am very open to any questions you guys have. You can ping the questions in the chat and I can answer them. Awesome. If there are no questions, Thank you very much for attending the session. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's stay connected, and we can, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you very much.